The Eve. Part 2. Hello, gentle reader. Welcome to the second part of The Eve. Don't forget to subscribe because we will be sharing more stories like this. Now let's continue. The cracks didn't appear all at once. They started quietly, like whispers in a storm. It began with the phone calls. Adrian would step outside to answer them, voice low, face tight. When he came back, he'd hold me like I was the only calm in his chaos. At first, I believed that. But one night, as he slept, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. A name flashed across the screen, Luca. The message read, "Shipment confirmed. But she's asking questions." I remember my heart stopping, my breath freezing mid-air. Who was she? When I confronted him the next morning, he didn't flinch. "Mira, it's just work. Import business. You're overthinking again." But I wasn't overthinking. I was remembering every moment that didn't make sense, the bruises on his knuckles, the strange men who greeted him with too much respect, the unmarked cars that sometimes waited across the street. Something was wrong. One evening, while cleaning the drawer in his study, I found an envelope. Inside were photos of people I didn't know, and one of me, taken from across the street. I didn't scream. I just stood there. When Adrian walked in and saw what I was holding, his expression shattered into something raw. "You weren't supposed to see that," he said quietly. "Who took these, Adrian? Why am I in them?" He took a step forward, then stopped. "I was trying to protect you." "From who?" He hesitated, and in that hesitation, the truth pressed between us like a blade. "From me." That night, he didn't sleep. He sat by the window, smoking in silence, eyes hollow. I wanted to ask 1,000 questions, but fear anchored my tongue. Around 3 a.m., he finally spoke. "I've done things I can't undo. Things that follow me." His voice cracked, the first time I'd ever heard it waver. "I thought I could build something real with you," he said, turning toward me. "But I can't keep pretending the ghosts won't find us." And then he whispered something that haunts me even now. "If I don't make it to the wedding, promise me you'll forget me." I thought it was just fear talking, but it wasn't. The next morning, he was gone. For 2 days, I lived between panic and denial. His phone was off, his office locked, his friends unreachable. Then came the news. A black car found near the outskirts of town burned. A body inside, unrecognizable. But the watch on the wrist was Adrian's. At first, I refused to believe it. He couldn't be dead. He couldn't just vanish the night before our wedding. I searched for him everywhere. But everywhere I went, I found only echoes. The whispers grew louder. Some said he was part of a syndicate. Others said he betrayed them. And a few swore he faked his death to escape. But no one really knew. And I was left standing in my wedding dress before an empty altar, staring at a bouquet that smelled like goodbye. That was the day something inside me cracked too. I stopped eating. I stopped answering calls. I started hearing his voice at night whispering my name, just like he used to. They said grief does that. That the mind plays tricks when the heart breaks too fast. But sometimes, when I woke at dawn, I'd find the window open, or a cigarette half burned on the balcony, the kind Adrian smoked. I told myself it was the wind. The days blurred into each other after the funeral, or what they called a funeral, because there wasn't a body to bury, just a sealed casket and a name engraved on brass. Adrian Cole, beloved fiancé. But the strange thing was, as I stood there, watching the rain soak the white petals on his coffin, I could swear someone was watching me from afar. A presence. A gaze heavy enough to make my skin prickle. When I turned, there was nothing, only the mist rolling over the cemetery gates. 2 weeks after his death, the calls began. Silent calls. No words. Just breathing. Slow, deliberate breathing. At first, I thought it was grief's cruel echo. But then a message arrived. No number, no name, just 5 words. "Don't believe what they said." My heart nearly stopped. I went to the police, shaking. They told me it was probably a prank. "Delete the message, miss," the officer said kindly. "You need rest." But how do you rest when ghosts start texting you? I stopped sleeping altogether. My friends begged me to leave the house, but something inside me said I couldn't, not yet. One night, I went to his study again. The room smelled faintly of cedar and smoke, the scent that once clung to his shirts. When I opened the drawer where I'd found those photos, a folded note slipped out. It read, "If anything happens to me, go to 27 Cross Hill Avenue. Don't tell anyone." It was almost midnight when I arrived there. The address led to an abandoned apartment complex, quiet, forgotten, suffocatingly still. I should have turned back. But I didn't. Inside, the air reeked of dust and rust. A single bulb flickered weakly above. And then I saw it. Pinned to the wall were photographs of me, of Adrian, of people I didn't know. A whole wall of secrets. At the center was a ledger, its pages filled with numbers, initials, and transactions that made no sense to me. Until I reached the last page. Scrawled in Adrian's handwriting were the words, "They're coming for me. If I disappear, it means they found out. Tell Mira to live." My knees gave out. I clutched the paper to my chest, trembling. And that's when I heard footsteps behind me. Slow. Heavy. Getting closer. "Who are you?" I whispered into the dark. A familiar scent reached me before the voice did. Smoke. Cedar. Rain. Mira. My heart stopped. That voice. I'd know it anywhere. I turned. And there he was. Adrian. Pale. Gaunt. "It's you," I breathed. "You're alive." He took a step closer, hand raised as if afraid to touch me. "I didn't mean for it to be this way. They wanted me dead. I faked it to keep you safe." I wanted to run into his arms, to scream, to hit him, to cry, but all I could do was whisper, "You destroyed me." "I know." His voice broke. "But if I stayed, they'd destroy you too." Tears streamed down my face. "What did you do, Adrian?" He looked away, jaw clenched. "I got involved with something I thought was business. It wasn't. It was blood money, Mira. I tried to pull out, but they don't let you leave. I was their pawn, and when I tried to walk away, they came for me." "So you left me to mourn a ghost," I said bitterly. He stepped closer. "It was the only way to save you." Before I could respond, headlights flashed through the cracked windows. A car screeched to a stop outside. Adrian's face drained of color. "They found me," he whispered. He grabbed my shoulders. "Run, Mira. Please. Don't look back." I shook my head, sobbing. "Not again. Not this time." He smiled faintly, brushing his thumb over my cheek, the same gesture he used the night he proposed. Then he turned toward the door, pulling a gun from his jacket. The sound that followed still haunts my dreams. Gunfire. Shouting. Then silence. By the time I stumbled outside, the car was gone and Adrian lay on the ground, eyes open, chest still. For real this time. The world said I lost my mind. Maybe they were right. Because every night since, I still hear him whispering, "Don't lose yourself for love, Mira." It took years, therapy, solitude, forgiveness to understand what he meant. Love isn't meant to cost your sanity. And no matter how deep it runs, no love built on secrets can last. The end broken heart.